Good morning, everyone. How are we on this fine Monday? We got a lot on the table. What do we have? Well, thanks for asking. We have Philadelphia Phillies baseball this afternoon at 1 o'clock. We have the Sixers taking on the Pacers for redemption tonight at 7. The Flyers just swept the Buffalo Sabres, so we got a lot to talk about. Ironically enough, as I'm rocking some Eagles gear, a little quiet on their front, but who knows? Maybe it won't be in an hour or so. You know how it works. Okay? You know how this Philadelphia Eagles unit works. So, what is up? What is up? What is up? Where shall we begin on this fine morning? Jordan asked the question, genuinely want to know my thoughts on the reality of getting Kyle Lowry and possible trades. Look, I would give – it's hard. It's not easy because you'd have to give up Danny Green, Ferguson, Mike Scott, Shake Milton, Matisse Thybulle. Like, it's going to take up 5 or 6 pieces to grab you Kyle Lowry. If it's for 1 year, you gotta make a push. But if it's for 1 year, if you know that Kyle Lowry would be willing to stay in Philadelphia, well, then we're in a different conversation. What's up, Pat? What's going on, dude? Thanks for chiming in. What's up, Chris? What's happening? Bounce back tonight? Yeah, I think so. I don't think it felt right for them what happened last game. By the way, first sip of the morning. Cheers, everybody. Enjoy your first sips. I will take mine now. Oh, yeah. Give me that hazelnut through my fucking veins. I would rather Lowry come off the bench. Well, here's your problem. You won't be able to because you have to get rid of Danny Green. You have to get rid of Danny Green. So if you get rid of Danny Green, there's no one else that you're going to be able to really slide into the starting rotation for Kyle Lowry to do it. And he asked, well, why do you have to give up Danny Green? Because you have to match the contract. So if you match the contracts, Danny Green has to be in play. So you're going to have to start him. What kind of coffee do we have this morning? We're going with the Wawa hazelnut, although I'm kind of running on fumes here. Or that's not the right saying. I don't even know what's going on anymore. I'm running out of hazelnut. I ran out of my golden blend from Starbucks. So I gotta go out and really bulk up my coffee selections. I finished my Dunkin' French vanilla. So I have, what's left? This cinnamon bun Dunkin' coffee that I had, I liked it for the first 2 cups. Not a big fan of it anymore. But Brendan comes in and asks what kind of coffee. We're going hazelnut. Wawa hazelnut. Although I was thinking, for my first day committing to Brodes Media for real, like full time, I probably should have went out and splurged a bit for a real coffee, but my ass didn't get up in time. My favorite, I'm not like some picky like coffee like connoisseur where it's like when you taste wine and you're spinning the wine. I just love coffee. Give me coffee. You know what I mean? Which Philly team do I want to win the chip the most? All of them. I don't know if I can really choose. That's a tough question. In what galaxy do we care about Danny Green? No. It's not about Danny Green. Danny Green, Mike. All right, you're the Raptors. You don't want Danny Green. You don't want Mike Scott. You don't want Ferguson. You don't want Poirier. But you have to have those guys in there just to make the trade work cap-wise. So none of those players move the needle for Toronto, correct? I think we're all in agreement. Now you have to throw in the guys that they do want out of this because they're not doing it for those players. They would want a Tyrese Maxey, a Shake Milton, a Matisse Thybulle. So my point is you are giving up 6 players for Kyle Lowry. That's my point. It's not, Danny Green. And then someone mentioned, well, Danny Green or Kyle Lowry, I'd rather them come off the bench. My point is if you're giving up Danny Green for the trade, you have a hole in that spot, in that 2-3 spot area. What are you going to do? Who are you going to slide in there? It would have to be Kyle Lowry. It wouldn't be anybody else. So that is why I brought up Danny Green's name. Do I think Bryce Harper will play today? No, the lineup already came out. And I'm kind of excited to watch a little Phillies baseball today at 1 o'clock. Although, once again, I'm having some issues here in my basement, and it's damn flooding again and pissing me off. Where is that lineup? Come on, I just saw it tweeted out there. Oh, I'm looking up Ruben Frank and not Jim Salisbury. Classic mistake before the coffee. The only people of note in today's game, Nola's pitching. McCutcheon's leading off. Segura hitting 2. Napper hitting 3. Brad Miller, that's right, Bamboo Brad hitting 3rd. And you got Roman Quinn in the DH spot. Don't need a big name. Get Ellington or Lou Will. How are we getting Lou Will? And I'd say Lou Will is a big name, by the way. I mean, he's arguably the best sixth man in I was going to say in history, but realistically, in today's era of basketball, he is your best sixth man possible. So, does it concern me that no one has picked up Odorizzi yet? No, not necessarily. There's a couple names out there that people will take flyers on. And no, it doesn't concern me because it's not as if you're going out and paying this guy some lethal amount of money, right? So that's the difference. You're not going out there and like, oh, let's sign this big deal to Odorizzi. It would be another flyer, if you will, because he's coming off of an injury that is pretty significant at his point in his age where he's hitting the 30 mark. Now you're starting to kind of have some questions. So, no, it doesn't concern me because it would be like, hey, let's take a shot. Let's take a shot. Where do I watch? You can watch the Phillies today at 1 p.m. on NBC Sports Philadelphia. I might actually do a little live stream too. How about that? So be prepared. Maybe I'll do a little hop on in and watch, not the whole game because you know it's going to be a little bit of a bad performance later on as some of the scrubs come in. But maybe for the first couple of innings or so, I'll do a little how do you do. We can hang out and just watch the Phils, watch Aaron Nola. Of course the Phillies are back. What do you mean, oh, the Phillies are back? As if you didn't know. Come on. Of course they're back. Of course they're back. Do I think the Flyers beat the Bruins this season? And if not, what big piece do we need? What are your thoughts on Zade? Dude, Wisdom is tearing it up. He's got filthy assists every night. He's scoring bingos every night. The dude is unbelievable. Do the Flyers beat the Bruins? I don't know. They're the kryptonite. The Bruins are the kryptonite. Am I doing a game review on the Phillies? Probably not a spring training game review, although we will start implementing Phillies baseball talk throughout. What'll probably end up happening is this. After 2 or 3 games, maybe I'll pile up some of the bigger storylines and talk about them. I don't know if I will necessarily break down each spring training game because after a couple innings, it's a bunch of slop. And by the way, what happened yesterday with Ivan Nova, holy hell was that bad. 1/3 inning, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 1 strikeout, threw an insane amount of pitches. And look, it's spring training. I thought Joe Girardi said it best. You'll never hurt your stock in spring training because you're trying to get a flow into things. You're trying to get your feel out there. You haven't legitimately pitched in forever. So you will never hurt yourself in spring training, but you sure can make some positive signs. And Adam Hazley did that. The fact that he's going lefty, oppo tacos, that's pretty damn important for the kid. And I tweeted this out with the video of Adam Hazley, but there's been a problem here with having the opportunity to hit against lefties, and they just never gave him the real fair shot to do it. He's hitting .242 in 62 plate appearances against lefties, and he's hitting .276 and .239 at-bats against righties. He's got to prove to himself that these top dogs at the top, Dave Dombrowski, Joe Girardi, that he can hit against lefties. And for him to go Oppo Taco in the starting spring training game off a lefty, that's a pretty good statement. Wisdom was insane the other night? Yeah, for sure. Oh, you actually went to the Phantoms game, Chris, to watch that game play out? I didn't know that they were even... Are they allowing fans? Or did you go for nitty-gritty? Were you covering the Phantoms for nitty-gritty, or are they allowing fans in there? I heard this offseason when Adam Hazley couldn't hit against lefties, and he couldn't hit homers. Well, Billy, I will say, just because a guy does it once, let's not act as if this guy is now some power hitter who's going to crush lefties every single time he's at bat. He hit .242 against lefties, which isn't like an insane abomination, but the guy's not hitting 297, and the guy's not crushing an insane amount of homers. So, I mean, look, it is fair. Like, I think it's very fair to say the guy's not a home run hitter. I think it's very fair to say he struggles in the box. Even though he just did this to open up spring training, you know, what was said about him, one at-bat doesn't change things. Andrew Knapp once hit a walk-off dinger. What do you think I think about Andrew Knapp? The same thing. I don't think he's Barry Bonds all of a sudden. Do the Flyers still need a sniper, or is it only a defenseman? No, they need more. They definitely need more than just a sniper. They need a goal scorer. They need a defenseman. They need a lot. They need a lot. A lot strong, but they need a couple pieces for sure, in my opinion. Yeah, no Bryce Harper. Happy birthday, by the way, whoever, because people are saying happy birthday, so I'm trying to scroll up to whose birthday it actually is. William. Happy birthday, William. Happy 18th. Wow, it's a big one. It's a big one. Congratulations. Yes, Aaron Nola is on the mound this afternoon. Sorry to be off topic. There's no such thing as off topic here. It's just coffee with Brodes. We just shoot the shit and hang out, Dawson. Sorry to be off topic, but there's the last few recent losses for the Sixers. Where are you for what the end of the season may look like? So last night I put up a podcast on Sports Talk with Brodes about this article I read on The Athletic by Rich Hoffman. And he broke down how bad the half-court sets are. By the way, I should throw my ticker up here. How bad the half-court sets are and how bad the three-point shooting is and how they rank 28th in the league and all. And when you think about half-court sets and struggling to shoot threes, that's a recipe for disaster. So it has nothing to do with the last couple of games. It has everything to do with big picture on where this team is right now. I don't think that it works. The Danny Green slander is funny to me, only because I feel people's expectations were so flawed heading into this thing. And I guess that's where I differentiate myself from anybody else. What did you expect from a Danny Green at this age after watching him play with the Lakers last year? And that's when I just feel that maybe people didn't watch Danny Green, which is crazy because the guy's been a championship caliber player. Maybe not a championship caliber player, but he had an important role on championship teams. But this is where he is. This is where he has been in L.A. This is where he is in his career. So to expect that he's some awful player, I don't know. Or, you know, to expect him to come in and be some crazy player, I guess I should say. I don't know. I guess I just don't see it. Do I think the Phillies should release Andrew Knapp and draft a catcher? What is this, the NBA? No, that doesn't work like that. It's not the shooting. I'm more disappointed in the plays that he makes. I'm with you. I think down the stretch he's making some ugly ones, and he's fouling at the wrong times and all. I think the last couple of games have been a little bit of a wonky spot for Danny Green. But I think people are more frustrated with the three-point shooting and the lack thereof and the missing shots and all that. And I just keep going back to, I don't know what you really expected. That's where I'm at. Let's look up Danny Green stats because someone was going crazy in my comment section the other day with all this nonsense, and I kind of gave up on it after a certain amount of time. So he's shooting around 39% from three. Well, league average is 36. And by no means am I saying he's been playing very good because he has been up and down. But at the end of the day, the guy's shooting just about 39%. 38.4. So 38.4. All right, maybe I'm reaching a little bit. 38.4%. Now, his better years in his career in Toronto, he shot 45. Early in San Antonio, 43, 42, 41, 41. But he had a 33% year. He had a 38% year. He had a 36% year. Last year he's shooting significantly better this year than he did last year with the Lakers. With the Lakers, he shot 36.7%. 36.7. That is league average. He's shooting an uptick of the league average this year at 38.4%. So I get the frustration, but I do think that it's a little bit of an overreaction as well. What seed do I think the Sixers finish with? Two or three? They finish with that 2 or 3 seed? And I was going to say, but who cares because there's no fans in the stands. But it looks like there's a possibility fans will be in the stands. Maybe not a full capacity, which changes how the feel is in the environment. But still, some fans might be important to these playoff runs as you move forward. Ooh, man, that was a good shipper. I could feel it running through the veins. What is the lineup for today's Phillies game? Well, thank you for asking. I will let you know and keep everybody updated on that. Although, I'll only tell you the people that really matter here. Aaron Nola starting pitching, Andrew McCutchen leading off, Gene Segura in the 2-hole, Napper batting third, and Bamboo Brad batting fourth. Oh, did I say Quinn was batting fourth before? I apologize. Miller's batting fourth, and Quinn is batting fifth in your 5 spot. So that is the significant players, if you will. Joyce batting after that, and then you're going to see some guys come in that are somewhat irrelevant. Danny's okay, but Seth needs time. Yeah, the Seth thing, you got to remember, too. The Dallas Mavericks gave up on Seth Curry, right? They made a trade for Josh Richardson. And I'm not saying that there's mistakes that are made because there's plenty of franchises that will trade someone and they become a fantastic player in their new environment. But there's a reason why the Mavs gave up on him. If he was this crazy, phenomenal, insane knockdown shooter at will, constantly, never misses, unreal, would the Dallas Mavericks give up on him? Probably not, especially with a couple years left in his deal at $8 million per, right around $8 million. Like, that's a nice contract for a shooter. If he was this lethal elite guy that had no flaws, well, you wouldn't give up on the guy. You wouldn't trade that spacing. You would value that spacing. So once again, he's got a role. He helps you out. He's a key player. He is spacing. If he's hot, he's red hot. But there's going to be off nights. There's a reason why he was available for a trade, right? Because if he was who you want him to be, which is what he was 5, 6, 7 games into the season, guess what? He's in Dallas still, right? The guy's in Dallas. Now let's go to Seth Curry's game log. Well, I like doing this. I like getting into a little bit more of looking into some of these stats. Yeah, exactly, Pat. They wouldn't just trade him if he was this Seth Curry that you want the Seth Curry to be. And I like Seth. He's very valuable on this team, especially with a Ben Simmons that doesn't shoot. Yeah, Seth, look, I'm not downplaying COVID, but I do think that people use it sometimes as an excuse on poor play. So I do think that, and I'm not saying it. Look, I just heard Scott Kingery say something about his issues and COVID-19 giving him problems when he was running to second base. So I'm not downplaying where we are with COVID, but I do think at the same time, TK, that people might be using that as like, oh, well, Seth Curry had COVID, so now he stinks. Like, no, I mean, this is kind of the player that he is. So early in the year, this is last year's playoffs. No. We don't need last year's playoffs. We need 2020, 2021 with the Philadelphia 76ers. I do miss hearing that. I do. I miss hearing that. They started off with Washington. Okay, points. Whew. He went on a tear before he was inactive. 17, 21, 21, 28, plus 20, plus 24, plus 23. Shooting 75 per... Oh, that's from the field. So you have 75% from 3, going 3 of 4. 500% from 3, going 3 of 6. 71% going 5 of 7 against the Orlando Magic from deep, dropping 21 points. Going 3 of 6, going 6 of 7 in his last game before going inactive, shooting 85% from 3 in that one game. Like, these numbers are absurd. 75%, 71%, 85%. Like that, you're not going to keep that up, right? I mean, you're just not going to keep that up. But it's insane to look back at where he was earlier in that season, just crushing it. This was about 8 games in or so. But that's not reality, right? You can't just keep that up forever. And the talent they were playing up against. No, he is not 100% from the line. He's missed some. We do need that Seth back. I just don't think that Seth is very reliable. Seth is pretty good. He can defend smaller guards. He can penetrate, but the streaky shooter defense is getting slim. I just think he needs a bit of help. Of course he needs some help. I got ripped apart because when he first got here, I said, you know what? I would like Seth Curry to come off the bench. And I didn't just make that up out of nowhere. If you look at his career, it will tell you that minutes-wise, like that's kind of who he's been. And maybe he's one of those players where the less is more, right? And I'm not saying significantly less, but maybe instead of playing him 29, 30, he's averaging 30 minutes a night. Well, in his career, here's his minute total. 24, 19, 15. He did have a 29 season 3 years ago with Dallas, but I don't think it's ironic. 15 minutes a night, 19 minutes a night, 24 minutes a night, and now he's getting 30 minutes a night, and maybe there's a little bit of wear and tear. Maybe less is more for Seth. Maybe he's more of a 25 a night type of player, and that's fine. That's fine. But maybe we got to readjust. Thoughts on the Ekholm Flyers trade rumors? I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued. My concern, though, is Chuck Fletcher will give up too much because my man gave up a second and a third for Justin Braun, who's a stiff and stinks, no matter what the team says, because the team's all about it. Unleash the Bronner. You know, when you have to do something like that, it tells me everything I know about the guy. Like, it's sort of like, yeah, like when Bronner becomes like, unleash the Bronner. Yeah, you don't do that about Provorov. You don't do that with Claude Giroux. You don't do that with JVR or Joel Farabee. You do that with the guy that's kind of like on the edge, who stinks, and unleash the Bronner. Yeah, you stink, and your team's kind of mocking you a little bit. That's what it is. They won't admit that, though. Farabee has turned into such a great player, and he's still young. Future captain. I don't know. So young to say something like that. Don't tell me, Mike, that you're a get-out-of-town Claude Giroux guy, because I can't handle that this morning. Do not tell me that that's where we're going today, that we're ready to strip the sea on Claude Giroux, unless you're just giving a general thing. But I don't know if Joel Farabee's there from a leadership standpoint. There's so many players. And look, Sean Couturier might still be here by then and all that with Claude. Not if Claude doesn't return. I just can't see Claude going to another organization. Even when his contract expires, he'll be 34 years old or so. I think he's still going to be. I can't imagine him going in another city, but maybe I'm wrong. I mean, you talk about, Chris says, I'll leave, LOL. If what, Joel Farabee's the captain? Or if Claude Giroux's out of town? Which one will you leave if it happens? I don't know, though, because, man, I love Claude. I would love for him to hoist the Stanley Cup. I just can't imagine him going anywhere else, though. Like, he's on pace to break Flyers career records. You know, Bobby Clark type numbers, like all that. Like, it's crazy, man. The guy is a Philadelphia Flyer. And I know it pisses people off because he hasn't won the Stanley Cup. Okay. Because that's Claude Giroux's fault. It's such a joke. 6-1-1 with Cootsie this season. Yeah, their record's like 11-1-1 without playing the Boston Bruins. If G leaves, I'll be upset. Yeah, I will be too. He just seems like a Philly guy. And to keep in mind, family, children now. He's got a child, so they're going into school and whatnot. Do you want to pack up your stuff and leave? No, if we hear G slander this morning, I'll leave the stream. I'll text him my questions. Yeah, the G slander is ridiculous. How about your boy Ghost, though? Oh, look, I know you're probably jumping up and down for Ghost right now. He's playing good hockey. He's playing hockey that deserves to be in the lineup. And based off of circumstances, him and Provorov have been doing well. But I still don't like. Here's my problem. If Shane Gostisbehere is your top D pairing, and I think he fits now based off of circumstances, but if he is your top D pairing, your D-core stinks. Your D-core is not enough. Ivan Provorov and Ghost have been playing pretty well. And Ghost is logging in 20 minutes a game. Like, that's good. And that's fine for right now. But big picture here, if Shane Gostisbehere is your top D pairing, you don't have a strong enough D-core. I like him in the lineup over Gustafsson. Phil Myers deserves to be in. So Gustafson and Ghost, I think they're the same player. Ghost is just a better version right now. So I don't want both of them out there. As much as I rip Braun, I think Braun needs to be in because they lack defense stay-at-home wise. And I'm not saying he's good at it, but you got to have that mentality over Eric Gustafson. So I'm okay with what you do with Provorov, Ghost. You got Sanheim, Myers. You got Hagen, Braun. I don't love it. All right? I'm just saying because of your circumstances, if that's your best unit, that's your best unit. I think it's a flawed best unit, but I think that's your best unit. Myers should be in. Ghost has earned himself a spot right now. Chris comes back in and says, give it time. They know they have to add something on D. It's obvious. Yeah, I agree with that. I wonder what their move's going to be. With Ekholm, I like Ekholm. I'm scared that this compensation is going to be too thick, too fat. Chuck Fletcher likes to make a move, and I can't do anything but think about what he gave up for Braun, which is funny because at the time, I liked the Braun move better than the Niskanen move. I thought he gave up a lot, but I liked the acquirement of Justin Braun. And I was like, ooh, Matt Niskanen, back 9, and it ended up working out just the difference. So who knows? Maybe, maybe I'll overreact to this one as well. Maybe I'll react the right way because that happens too. Alec Pags with a $10 donation says Gustafson sucks. Yes. Yes, he does. Yes, he stinks. Thank you so much for the $10 donation, Pags. You're a beauty. Thank you. Cheers, as always. Gustafson sucks. He really does. I can't stand him. By the way, Pags, do you sit there and have coffee with my coffee? Is that what you do, or you just watch? Like, I want to know how many people thoroughly sit down at 9 o'clock. It's like, all right, I have my cup brewed. Let's sit down next to Brodes and drink the coffee. Or some people wake up so early that 10 o'clock, they might already be on cup 9. I don't know. Thank you so much, though, Pags. It's amazing the support that you show. Thank you so much. How about them Phillies? I'm with you, dude. I'm with you. Right, dude says Carter Hart, good again. Yeah, Carter Hart had a nice bounce-back performance. Thought it was big for him to get off the schneid. You have Moose rocking a shutout the night before. And there's there's not a lot of noise. There's a little bit of noise about who's playing hotter right now, what goalie should you ride with. And with that being said, for him to pop in there and snag himself a shutout of his own, it either, one, tells you that the Buffalo Sabres actually blow and they are horrendous, or it tells you that Carter Hart is playing a little bit better, which could be both. No, Jake, I don't do coffee with Brodes on the weekend. I do coffee with Brodes Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. So no coffee with Brodes on the weekend. What's the hot take, Arm Zebra? What's the hot take? Can't wait to see Bryson Stott. I didn't see Bryson Stott in the lineup for the game that's at 1 o'clock. But, who knows? Of course I do. Waiting for the Sports Talk with Brodes mug to come in so I can enjoy my coffee with your beautiful face on it. I love it. Dude, you're going to have to come over, check out the man cave, watch some games. We got to make that happen. Got to make that happen, dude. It's been way too damn long. Back in the day, playing mini hockey in your basement, just going nuts, tackling each other against the wall. Remember those days, dude? Unbelievable. Philly Kid 406 has his coffee, as you should. As you should. Keith likes the new ink. Thank you. Oh, wrong arm. Yeah, I got to get it colored. The problem is, all right, so I got this done months ago. And it was going to take 2 sessions. Like, this took about 8 hours, and then I got to go back and get it colored in. And then they had a COVID situation at the tattoo place, and then they got put on pause. And then I had so many things to clean up here around the house. And it's like, now I'm kind of stuck with it. Like, it's the problem. It's not just like unfinished. It doesn't give an unfinished vibe. It gives like a black and gray and creative. What's the word I'm looking for? Like blank space almost, because of the blank space. It looks finished, if that makes sense. So I can get away with it, but it does need to get colored in soon. There's just so much that's going on around the house and whatnot that I had to take a little bit of a break, but I've been fiending for my next piece. It's nonstop with this stuff. You know what I mean? Stott is available as a sub today. Okay, I just didn't see that news. Okay, so yeah, I'm excited to see him as well. I still think he's a little bit away, but should be great. to see him get some action. Brodes, vlog to Philly games. Yeah, that would be fun. The problem is limited capacity, but that would be fun as hell. I am thinking about maybe starting some vlogging stuff. I just got to, now that we're making the adjustment, the Brodes Media full time, we're going to slowly attack some. Sorry, I got the hiccups. Got to attack new ideas, new concepts. It's a work in progress. Are you going to go live for the Phillies game? Well, Vince, it's a good question. I think for the beginning, I'm not going to promise the full game here. But I think for the beginning, maybe we'll go live. We'll kick back. We'll watch a little bit of the Phils. Nothing insanely crazy. It's just spring training. Maybe for the first couple of innings, though. So be aware. Hit the little notification bell on YouTube so you know when I'm going live. But today around 1 o'clock, be prepared because I might hop back in, relax, put my feet up, watch the Phils a little bit, and hang out with the chat. So just be prepared for that. I'm warning you, 1 o'clock, be prepared. I'm also saying don't expect it to be the full game, though. Am I filling out an NCAA tournament bracket? Of course I am. This Michigan team looks scary. TH from the 203. Yo, what is going on? Christian, it's a great sight when the Flyers can get more than 25 shots. I know. And they did this twice now. They did it against the Sabres twice, and they did it against the Rangers. But I keep falling back to, do the Rangers and the Buffalo Sabres just suck so much? They are that putrid. They are that abysmal that it's making the Flyers look like a better team than they really are. And I think that is a fine question to ask. Some people jump down my throat asking if I'm like a pessimistic guy and why do I have to be so negative? I'm not being negative. I just like to take all of the information, take all of the data, put it together, and come up with a conclusion. And to act as if the Sabres don't suck and to act as if these teams don't suck that they're playing, that's unfair. It's doing the Flyers a disservice. That needs to be factored in. That's all. It just needs to be factored in. Buffalo has been garbage. You're right. I have a question. So random. When you have a kid, will Furkan Korkmaz be a curse word in your house? By that time, Furkan Korkmaz will be so irrelevant in my life. It is funny, though. I can always go back to these random players and people. And we somewhat had this discussion before of not big-time players, not your Claude Giroux, your Jimmy Rollins, your Chase Utleys, but your role players that just pissed you off so much. And I'll never forget him. I'll never forget Andrew Knapp before last season. Of course, he made a little bit of noise for himself, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because he had a better season. So that definitely factors in. Keith Richmond with the $10 donation. Donation to the Brodes Tattoo Fund. I can't wait for the next tat. Love your daily content. That's amazing. Don't make me get your initials. Don't make me get a portrait of you on my neck. Don't tempt me with a good time. I always did think about the neck tattoo. I hope my mother's not listening. She definitely won't like that. But thank you so much, Keith. I love the fact that you're donated to a tattoo fund. I'm with you there. They're definitely not cheap, but they are an addiction. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the kind words and the fact that you've been here every day supporting the show. The $10 donation is very much appreciated. Thank you so much, Keith. Thank you so much. The words DK and Metcalf are taboo in this city. Yeah, you're not wrong there. And guess what? There might be a couple other ones that get thrown that direction as well. Oh, I hope not, though. I hope not soon. Do you think the Sixers is a little overrated? The schedule against 500 teams is over 500 teams is mediocre at best. Bench aside from Shake is trash. Murray needs to pull the trigger with fury in his eyes. I don't think it's overrated. Here's why. Who in the East, and you'll say the Brooklyn Nets, are significantly better? Like if I said, Who is significantly better than the Sixers in the East right now? Significantly. If you watch Milwaukee, Milwaukee goes through 4-game losing streaks, and then they win 4 games in a row. Like, they have issues. They have issues. Now they're getting, I think it was Drew Holiday back because he was out for some COVID problems and all. But my point is, if I ask you who is insanely, no debate, 100% better than the Sixers in the East, if the response is only the Brooklyn Nets, I don't think that they're overrated. I think they're probably right where they are. They're rated fine, right? So, yeah, the Boston Celtics aren't playing good. The Miami Heat are playing better, but I don't know if they're on that category of Brooklyn Nets yet. So if you ask yourself it from that perspective, who is better? Well, there's not many teams that it's a no-brainer lock. So with that being said, they're probably right there. I was so happy to see fans at the ballpark. I agree with that. Yeah, I heard a guy around the 6th inning ended up getting drunk and had to be kicked out of the game. And we're thinking, all right, fans are back, baby. Fans are back. So right here on Twitter, I wouldn't even say Brooklyn. They don't have any big men or play defense, LOL. Well, that's my point. So the Sixers, all right, so here's the thing. This is exactly what we are sitting in right now. This is the scenario that we have. The Sixers are flawed, and the Sixers have problems, and that makes you worried heading into a postseason run. And fine, that's fair. I can get behind that. But there's no LeBron James on a Cleveland Cavaliers. There's flaws in everyone. So you're nitpicking the Sixers because we care about the Sixers. The Sixers are emotionally involved in our hearts, so we nitpick them differently. The problem is there's flaws with the Nets. There's flaws with the Bucks. There's flaws with the Celtics. There's flaws with the Heat. There's flaws with the Pacers. There's flaws with the Raptors. So even with these said flaws, which make me nervous, the half-court sets and the three-point shooting, those are exactly what you need to execute in the playoffs. And this Sixers team struggle in that area. The Bucks and the Brooklyn Nets are 1 and 4th when it comes to operating in the half-court set. That is what translates to playoff basketball. So that definitely concerns me. But let's be realistic. There's not this team that is shutting down the Eastern Conference, and it's a lock. So the Sixers are in play even with the problems. And that's the way that you have to kind of look at it. The only player in the East that can stop Joel is Giannis. We'll see. I don't know. This is a different Joel Embiid. We'll see. The Toronto Raptors seem to be able to do it no matter who is on the other side. No matter if it's Marc Gasol or me. They find ways. Cameron says, got my coffee just for you, Brodes. Thanks, Cameron. Well, guess what? I got my coffee just for you. How about that? Thoughts on the Knicks at the 4 seed? Yeah, it just shows you how much of a joke the NBA is after some of these, so look, when you get to it's crazy, they're 18 and 17. But I think you're starting to see the Miami Heat creep in there. They're 17 and 17 now, and Jimmy Butler's back, and they're starting to play better. The problem is, they're the 4 seed, but the 5, 6, 7 seed, who are all better teams than the Knicks, are 1 game behind them. But look, I guess it's also a product of COVID years. It's a product of playing with no fans. There's a lot that factors into these issues. But you look at the 8th seed, 16 and 17. I hate when that happens. You get under 500 teams, and then in the Warriors are in the 8th seed on the other side. They're 19 and 16. It just shows you the difference. How about the Spurs making a nice little push this season? They're 17 and 12. And the Suns team is fun as hell to watch too at 22 and 11. They're very entertaining. Randall's a stud. I don't know if Randall's a stud. All right. I think we can look. Randall's a stud. Stud? I don't know if I can use the word stud. I guess it depends on your terminology, because stud to one guy means something to a different guy. LOL. The Knicks fans hated Tibbs hire. Now they love him. Look, this is how it works when you get a coach in there like Tibbs. Fiery, energy, works for 3 years, and then afterwards it's done. So maybe Tibbs is what they needed for a stopgap guy. Let's get these players playing hard. No reason for a players coach who's going to be very soft on them. Let's get a hard-nosed guy in there. Let's get the determination back in play. And then Tibbs leaves when it's time to turn the page. Don't let my Wizards get hot. Stop it. Just stop it. Jordan says, got that coffee in a Yeti, my man. Thanks for the answer about Lowry. Always appreciate your input. Thank you, Jordan, for coming in to the chat, hanging out, kicking back, relaxing. Got to have the coffee in a Yeti, especially when I'm talking this much. Normally, I won't go Yeti to just sit on the couch. I'll go normal standard coffee mug. I thought I would have one in here. Sometimes I forget about it. It's on the side of my desk. But when I'm here and I'm talking nonstop for an hour and I barely get any sips in, that's when I have the problem of keeping my coffee hot. It's got to be hot. Michael Givens wants to know, what is happening with Brodes Media? Well, I've made the announcements all over Twitter, and you can follow me on Twitter at Brodes81. That's where you're going to get a lot of the news and up-to-date things and a lot of thoughts and opinions during games. And Twitter's the place to be to follow me at Brodes81. But pretty much the announcement happened late last week. I left 97.3 ESPN after 2 years. It was just an incredible journey, but it is time to commit full-time to Brodes Media, Coffee with Brodes, Sports Talk with Brodes, live streaming through games, live streaming pre-games, a little pre-game show for the Phillies when the regular season happens, and vlogging and this and that, and so much more being added. It's just time to fully commit to this. So I took a step off of 97.3 ESPN, which was a tough decision because I loved it there. Being on Afternoon Drive with Mike Gill every day was arguably the best stretch here in my career, and I'll never forget it. Never, ever forget it. Great group of guys that work there, but it's time. It's time to fully commit to Brodes Media, Sports Talk with Brodes, all of it. So I'm super excited. It's just going to be really fun to commit this way. So that is the news that broke at the end of last week. If you didn't hear it, this is now a reality. Do I think Tobias will play today? I don't know if I've even heard an update on Tobias. Now, my guess would be no. My guess would be they're going to kind of hold him back until after the All-Star game. So the last news we heard on Tobias was Sham said MRI on 76ers forward Tobias Harris. Right knee show no structural damage, which we know. Confirmed a contusion. Sources tell The Athletic. I don't think we've heard any update, and I guess I don't anticipate hearing an update either. This is probably going to be more of a after the All-Star break thing, would be my guess. I'm just speculating. Because why would you rush anything? There's no reason to rush anything. Tobias is questionable? Where did we see this news? How did I miss that? Did that come out this morning? I typed in Tobias Harris, and I didn't even get anything. Normally, that would be like the first thing that comes up when I hit latest. So, interesting. But, if he's questionable, I'm a little surprised, though. I'll be honest. I'm definitely a little surprised. I think they got, 2? How many games left do they have until the break? 2? Like, do you think it's really worth playing Tobias Harris right now? Unless it's not that bad at all. I mean, look, they know the severity of it. They know how brutal it is. Yesterday it came out. What the hell was wrong with me? Sorry, fellas. Is it worth playing Tobias in this scenario against the Pacers? I guess it really came down to it's not that bad if he plays, so we'll see. Embiid is questionable with back tightness. I think we're going to get that every single game, though, for the most part. You're always going to see Joel Embiid questionable, and then he ends up playing. Or maybe he does miss that one game and you get a little bit disappointed. Brodes, do you have any sports card collecting? Well, I do know it's a hot item again, and I do know that it's coming around. I have a collection. It's not the strongest collection. I don't know what to do with it, to be honest with you. I don't know if I should start collecting again, maybe start giving away some of my cards because I'm not as into it as I once was. So I wonder if, it's ankle soreness. Okay, I was just reading the chat. So somebody else said that it was back tightness. It's looks like that it is not, and it is an ankle soreness. Regardless, I think that he's going to play. Clearly, I'm all discombobulated on the injury report here with the Sixers, but I'll get that under control. I didn't have my coffee yet. That's always my excuse when we do this show. Where was I, though? Oh, the card collecting. Yeah, the card collecting. I know it's big. I don't know. Maybe I should give away some of my cards. Maybe I should go look back at some of my cards and see what I got. So we'll see. Where are we here? You should do jersey unboxing. I'm not some huge jersey guy either. I'm starting to fade away from the jerseys. I have some, and there was a time where I was loving it. I'd buy a bunch off China and just buy them. Like, yeah, I'd admit that. Of course, I'm going to buy some China jerseys and get them cheaper. They look the same and whatnot. But then I kind of died out on it a little bit. You might think I'm crazy. This is coming from Vince. But what would you think about trading for Lonzo Ball instead of Lowry? Because he's way cheaper contract-wise. He's been a good three-point shooter and a great defender. Here's my problem with Lonzo Ball. And maybe this is a flawed mindset, and maybe this is a problem just for my brain. But maybe not. Maybe others think the same way as I do. And if you do, that's a scary thought. Hold on a second. I need a sip. All right, so what I think this second unit is missing is a veteran bench player, is a veteran ball handler, is an experienced guy, someone who has played in deep playoff runs, someone who has calmed down a second unit before, someone who's played with greatness on his team. And I don't know if Lonzo Ball fits that role. And I know this sounds crazy because George Hill and Lonzo Ball are at different parts of their career. But I would rather have a George Hill. I would rather have a Kyle Lowry, of course, but I would rather have this veteran, older guy who's been around the block, guy who has experienced a third-round playoff round before, a second-round playoff round before, a deeper playoff run before. I want a George Hill that has put the ball in his hands in crucial moments. With Lonzo Ball, you are now going through growing pains. He's a younger guy. He hasn't been in this big, heavy moment before. We talk about growing pains, growing pains, growing pains. At this point with Lonzo Ball, you are now looking for, like, hey, he's young. He's going to have to adapt. He's going to have to learn on the job. I don't want learning on the job. Learning on the job is not where this team is unless your name is Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid and, like, Matisse Thybulle. But your point of calming down this second unit is to get a player in here who you don't need to learn on the job. I want a veteran. So I'm out on Lonzo. I'm out on these younger cats. I want an older guy. That's what you need. You need an older guy. So that's my thought on it. And maybe that's crazy because, look, Lonzo's young and you can grow with him and things of that nature. And I got a random chest itch. I don't think I've ever had that in my life. Nothing's there but a little Austin Powers chest hair. That was the strangest thing to ever happen to me. Brodes, Phillies, then Sixers today. Flyers tomorrow with the Phillies. We got a treat. Things are starting to intensify. That is correct. Non-stop action. I got a little desk calendar over here, right? And I write down when the games are, what we got. And I love it. I'm filling out March because it's a new month. I flip the sheet. I'm filling out March. Here we go. It's like Sixers, Phillies, Flyers, Phillies, Sixers, Phillies, Flyers, Sixers, Phillies. Although we do have a week off with the All-Star break, which is going to suck. Not to mention you'd have to deal with his dad. No thanks. I don't think the Lonzo Ball and the Ball family dad is much of an issue anymore. There was that whole big baller brand thing that fell flat on their face. He's not much of an issue anymore, I don't think. And his brother, man, I'll tell you what, LaMelo Ball, if you don't watch this kid play, you're missing out. He's special. He's so much fun. He's insane. LaMelo Ball is a fun watch, man. Like, insanely talented. Brodes is questionable with a chest itch. That's a good one. Yeah, I don't know what the hell just happened there. That was interesting. Here we go. It's coming back. It's coming back. What is this? What is going on? People do say you drink black coffee, it puts hair on your testicles. Well, maybe it throws you a little chest hair, too. Because you know me, but that's the problem. I've been doing this for 6 years now, just straight black coffee every morning. So, you know, it's not as if all of a sudden here I am and I'm forming into this guy with a lot of chest hair with hair on my balls because I drink black coffee. Unless there's a 5-year window where it happens after your 5th year of doing it. Travis Konecny off the COVID list. I did see that. Did that happen a little bit yesterday? Or maybe they just made it official or whatever, but unless you're just mentioning it from yesterday. But yeah, I think I saw that yesterday during the game that it was anticipated that Travis Konecny would be coming off of that COVID list. So dude, I expect more out of Travis Konecny. Been very underwhelmed with him to this point. He needs to be better. You need more out of Travis Konecny. What's his stats? Let's look it up. Let's look up the old Travis Konecny. Who's Travis? Travis Konecny stats. I like Konecny. I think he's in a little bit of a tough spot. He's got 8 points in 12 games, +4, 5 goals. The numbers aren't as bad as I felt the feel of the play was. Like, you look at the numbers, and the numbers doesn't scream like, okay, not good enough. He's got 8 points in 12 games, but they've been kind of quiet. Like, I do feel that Travis Konecny has been a bit quiet. And it doesn't help that last year at the end of the season, he was extremely quiet. And that was the playoffs. And that's when it matters most. So if you're going to have some problems with a guy who's been quiet, that's an issue. Thomas, that the problem is, and it's kind of been discussed for a while now, but you got to give up Danny Green, Mike Scott, Poirier. You got to match the salaries. And that's what it's going to take. Then after matching the salaries, you then need to find something good that they even want. It might be hard, man. It might be hard. And there's other teams in play. Other teams are going to want him and going to give up a package. It might be significantly better than what you have to offer. Brodes, the 76ers are in trouble. Struggling shooting threes. It creates their losses. When this show ends in about 8 minutes, because we are done with Coffee with Brodes is finished and completed at 10 o'clock a.m. When it's over, I want you to go back to a podcast that I uploaded last night. And it mentions the half-court sets, and it mentions the shooting the three. And it talks about how this team lacks in both of those areas. I uploaded it last night. It's a good pod, and it will pretty much bounce off of exactly what Chuck is saying here with the 76ers and their issues. How about this tweet from John Clark of NBC Sports Philadelphia? Philly right now has 2 coaches that are in the top 10 in all-time regular season wins. Alain Vigneault is now 9th in the NHL. He got his 700th win last night, and Doc Rivers is 10th in the NBA. And I loved AV's answer last night. I'm missing one thing. Okay, I'm missing the Stanley Cup. And I just started, shaking, give it to me, damn it. And I started picturing Claude Giroux kissing the cup. But, yeah, he's on that list. Barry Trotz is 3. Joel Quenneville is 2. I don't know if Alain Vigneault is going to be able to catch some of those guys. Ken Hitchcock is up there with 849. Paul Maurice battling up there with 745. Scotty Bowman, of course, leading the way. Yeah, I don't know if AV can. I mean, he's going to pass Mike Babcock. They have the same, so he'll jump that. Lindy Ruff is now behind the bench again, so that changes things. It's a good list, though, for AV to be on, for sure. Do I think the Flyers are contenders? They need a defenseman. You can't win with this decor. And will one defenseman be enough? I don't know. If Matt Niskanen was on this team, would I feel a lot different? Probably. So if they go out and acquire Ekholm, maybe I will feel different about this team. So I don't know if they're real contenders right now. I don't think so. They need help. Alec Pags wants to know if I plan on doing live stream stuff in the future. Well, great question, Pags. Be prepared for 1 o'clock, because at 1 o'clock, I'm going to go live for the start of Philly spring training. So we'll just kick back for a little bit, not the whole game, maybe just the first couple of innings. But yes, we will be live streaming more, and specifically later on today at 1 o'clock when the Phillies start their spring training. I'll put my feet up. I'll lean back in the chair. I'll throw the chat on. I'll throw the camera on, and we'll just kick back, hang out, and watch a little bit of the Phils as they start their first live game that we can see on the damn television and watch. So just be prepared. Ben Simmons should join the dunk contest. There's a lot of guys that should be in the dunk contest that doesn't do the dunk contest. I don't even think they should be doing the All-Star. They shouldn't be doing anything this year in terms of any All-Star weekend. I know they're very limited this year in what they're actually doing, and I know it's all a payday situation. Like, hey, the NBA has a network thing, and it's getting paid for it, especially with the year with the COVID stuff, finding a way to get more money. It's big. It's big for them, but come on. The All-Star Weekend is big for the fans, and it's this big environment weekend where you come together. Dude, we're in a pandemic, it just doesn't make any sense. If the Sixers don't get far into the playoffs, do you think Morey will trade Simmons? I need context, Jacob. That's the problem. I need to see what happened. Why did they lose? How did they lose? Did Ben Simmons play well? Did the half court shut him down? Was he not was the lack of shooting clear and obvious where he's standing in the corner, he's standing out by the perimeter, he's standing in the dunker spot, and teams are able to throw all these double team looks at Joel Embiid, which clearly clusters him, frustrates him. I need to see how it goes. Is it just a product of not having enough and Ben Simmons played fine? Because it's possible that maybe they don't get far. Maybe they don't get past the second round. But it's not because of Ben and Joel, and it's because of the supporting cast. Then you start making moves with the supporting cast, and it's not so much, hey, we got to get rid of Ben Simmons. So it's too broad of a question right now because we need to see what happens first and how it happens and how it plays out, and then we can somewhat make our assessment on what should go down with him. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for coming in, man. I really appreciate all the support. Where are we here? Oh, let's see what Chris said before that. Have a feeling it's tough for TK since announcement of the kid coming. Maybe why he's struggling. I think then we're reaching, though. Like Joel Embiid took his game to the next level when he ended up having a kid. Bryce Harper seems to be more of like a structured player, not as much of a riot since he had his kid. And everyone's different. Claude Giroux, same thing, though. Like, I don't know. I feel like if we're like, hey, he had a kid, I guess Carson Wentz fell apart when he had a kid too. So you can look at it that way. But I think it's like, well, he had a kid, so now he's starting to play bad. And I'm not like knocking your thought process. You're throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. I'm with it. I would look, you know me. I like to take everything here. I like to rip the layers off the onion. I like to see what's happening, dive deeper. So with TK, yeah, you're diving deeper, but I think that might be a little bit of a reach. Robert says, I remember being pissed that your thumbnail spoiled the Toronto series 2 years ago before I could watch the game, and here we are. I hope we get to see a 76ers championship with you. I hope so, too. That would be fun. When the Eagles won the Super Bowl, I just started YouTube. I was very new, very fresh, didn't have much of a following. So now that here we are a handful of years later, the reaction of going on a ride to win a championship, I couldn't even imagine it, I guess I'm so dug into the day-by-day things that I never really processed actually what the reaction would be like, what the playoff run would be like, how much fun it would be reacting with everybody every day, not only on the post-game shows and the Anytime Hotline, but also on Coffee with Brodes. Like, it would just be so much fun because there'd be so much great feelings happening every single day. And hopefully we get that. Hopefully one of these teams really give us that powerful ride that gives this city that great juice and that great energy that we're kind of looking for. Will Bryce Harper ever win MVP again as a Philly? Maybe. I'm not as focused on that as some are. He had a great season with Washington, with the Nationals when that all went down. Fantastic player that year. He doesn't like. I think people get too into that. Way too invested into MVP. Bryce Harper doesn't have to be MVP. He doesn't have to be MVP. There's so many great, insane players today, and there's so much young, raw, natural, fantastic talent in the MLB where, you know what, maybe Bryce Harper isn't top 5 anymore, and that's okay. He doesn't have to be top 5. That's fine. He brings a sense of professionalism to your organization. Like, I don't think we need to get, fixed and focused on, but he won MVP and he's not MVP. I'm not saying you are, Nate. I think this is a really good question. I'm not reacting to your thoughts on it. I'm just reacting to the question itself because there are many that think, well, I mean, he's a waste. 13 years, 330 for this 264, 268. This guy's bad. And like, that is such an overreaction. You don't watch baseball. You don't understand the game then if you think Bryce Harper hitting 268 with 37 homers and walking 100 times and knocking in 100 guys. And I'm just hypothetically throwing out numbers here. I'm not specifically targeting a year. It's more just throwing out numbers because that's sort of what he gives you. Like, that is insane. And that's helping a baseball team win. You know? So, like, I think people get fascinated. Guess what? Giannis won MVP. What did that do for the Bucks? Zippo! Zippo, motherfucker! Nothing! And that's not to knock what he did. That's a great regular season. But MVP or league MVPs in the regular season do squat for me. They do absolutely nothing. So I actually love the question. And I might tie that into like a podcast on an off day with just the MVP talk and how I think people get so focused in on it. So with that, I don't know what just happened there. I just went on a little, whoa. Maybe it's the itchy chest. Maybe it's the itchy chest. I don't know. I don't know what just happened there, but yeah, it's 10:01. We're a little late to end the show. 1 o'clock. We'll be back. Phillies baseball. Be there. Not going to tell you it's going to be the whole game, just a couple innings or so, but we'll hang out. We'll kick back. We'll watch spring training together. 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. Be there. Thank you all so much for hanging out with this Coffee with Brodes, and we'll see you 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. If you didn't hear me, we'll see you then.